Delaware is one of the 50 states of the United States, in the South Atlantic or Southern region. It is bordered to the south and west by Maryland, north by Pennsylvania, and east by New Jersey and the Atlantic Ocean. The state takes its name from Thomas West, 3rd Baron Delaware, an English nobleman and Virginia's first colonial governor. Delaware occupies the northeastern portion of the Delmarva Peninsula and some islands and territory within the Delaware River. It is the second smallest and sixth least populous state, but the sixth most densely populated. Delaware's largest city is Wilmington. The state is divided into 3 counties, the lowest number of any state. From north to south they are Newcastle County, Kent County, and Sussex County. While the southern 2 counties have historically been predominantly agricultural, Newcastle County is more industrialized. Before its coastline was explored by Europeans in the 16th century, Delaware was inhabited by several groups of Native Americans, including the Lenape in the north and Nanticoke in the south. It was initially colonized by Dutch traders at Zwanendale, near the present town of Lewis, in 1631. Delaware was one of the 13 colonies participating in the American Revolution. On December 7, 1787, Delaware became the first state to ratify the Constitution of the United States, and has since been known as the first state. Like the other middle colonies, the lower counties on the Delaware initially showed little enthusiasm for a break with Britain. The citizenry had a good relationship with the proprietary government, and generally were allowed more independence of action in the colonial assembly than in other colonies. Merchants at the port of Wilmington had trading ties with the British. So it was that Newcastle lawyer Thomas McKean denounced the Stamp Act in the strongest terms, and Kent County native John Dickinson became the penman of the Revolution. Anticipating the Declaration of Independence, Patriot leaders Thomas McKean and Caesar Rodney convinced the Colonial Assembly to declare itself separated from British and Pennsylvania rule on June 15, 1776. The person best representing Delaware's majority, George Reed, could not bring himself to vote for a Declaration of Independence. Only the dramatic overnight ride of Caesar Rodney gave the delegation the votes needed to cast Delaware's vote for independence. Initially led by John Hazlitt, Delaware provided one of the premier regiments in the Continental Army, known as the Delaware Blues, and nicknamed the Blue Hens Chicks. In August 1777, General Sir William Howe led a British army through Delaware on his way to a victory at the Battle of Brandywine and capture of the city of Philadelphia. The only real engagement on Delaware soil was the Battle of Couch's Bridge, fought on September 3, 1777, at Couch's Bridge in Newcastle County, although there was a minor Loyalist rebellion in 1778. Following the Battle of Brandywine, Wilmington was occupied by the British, and State President John McKinley was taken prisoner. The British remained in control of the Delaware River for much of the rest of the war, disrupting commerce and providing encouragement to an active Loyalist portion of the population, particularly in Sussex County. Because the British promised slaves of rebels freedom for fighting with them, escaped slaves flocked north to join their lines. Following the American Revolution, statesmen from Delaware were among the leading proponents of a strong central United States with equal representation for each state. Delaware's agricultural output consists of poultry, nursery stock, soybeans, dairy products and corn industries. As of October 2015, the state's unemployment rate was 5.1%. The state's largest employers are Government, State of Delaware, Newcastle County, Education, University of Delaware, Delaware Technical and Community College, Banking, Bank of America, M&T Bank, J.P. Morgan Chase, Citigroup, Deutsche Bank, Chemical, Pharmaceutical, Technology, DuPont and Chemours Inc., AstraZeneca, Syngenta, Agilent Technologies, Healthcare, Christiana Care Health System, Bayer Health Medical Center, Alfred I. DuPont Hospital for Children, Farming, specifically chicken farming in Sussex County, Purdue Farms, Mount Air Farms, Allen Family Foods, Retail, Walmart, Walgreens, Acme Markets. Incorporation in Delaware. Main article, Delaware General Corporation Law. More than half of all U.S. publicly traded companies, and 63% of the Fortune 500, are incorporated in Delaware. The state's attractiveness as a corporate haven is largely because of its business-friendly corporation law. Franchise taxes on Delaware corporations supply about a fifth of the state's revenue. Although USA, Delaware, ranked as the world's most opaque jurisdiction on the Tax Justice Network's 2009 Financial Secrecy Index, the same group's 2011 index ranks the U.S. fifth and does not specify Delaware. In Delaware, there are more than 1 million registered corporations, meaning there are more corporations than people. Food and Drink. Title 4. Chapter 7 of the Delaware Code stipulates that alcoholic liquor only be sold in specifically licensed establishments, and only between 9 a.m. and 1 a.m. until 2003. Delaware was among the several states enforcing blue laws and banned the sale of liquor on Sunday. Transportation. Delaware's license plate design, introduced in 1959, is the longest-running one in the U.S. history. The transportation system in Delaware is under the governance and supervision of the Delaware Department of Transportation. Also known as DelDOT, funding for DelDOT projects is drawn, in part, from the Delaware Transportation Trust Fund, established in 1987 to help stabilize transportation funding. The availability of the trust led to a gradual separation of DelDOT operations from other Delaware state operations. DelDOT manages programs such as a Delaware Adopt a Highway program, major road route snow removal, traffic control infrastructure, signs and signals, toll road management, Delaware Division of Motor Vehicles. The Delaware Transit Corporation, branded as DART First State, the state government public transportation organization, among others. In 2009, DelDOT maintained 13,507 lane miles, totaling 89% of the state's public roadway system, the rest being under the supervision of individual municipalities. This far exceeds the national average for State Department of Transportation maintenance responsibility. Roads. Further information. Delaware State Route System. Delaware Route 1, DA1, is a partial toll road linking Fenwick Island and Wilmington. One major branch of the U.S. interstate highway system, Interstate 95, I-95. Crosses Delaware southwest to northeast across Newcastle County. There are also several state highways that cross the state of Delaware. A few of them include DA1, DA9, and DA404. US 13 and DA1 are primary north-south highways connecting Wilmington and Pennsylvania with Maryland, with DA1 serving as the main route between Wilmington and the Delaware beaches. DA9 is a north-south highway connecting Dover and Wilmington via a scenic route along the Delaware Bay. US 40 is a primary east-west route, connecting Maryland with New Jersey. DA404 is another primary east-west highway connecting the Chesapeake Bay Bridge in Maryland with the Delaware beaches. The state also operates 3 toll highways, the Delaware Turnpike, which is I-95, between Maryland and Newcastle, the Korean War Veterans Memorial Highway, which is DA1, between Wilmington and Dover, and the U.S. 301 toll road between the Maryland border and DA1 in Newcastle County. A bicycle route. Delaware Bicycle Route 1 spans the north-south length of the state from the Maryland border in Fenwick Island to the Pennsylvania border north of Montchain Inn. It is the first of several signed bike routes planned in Delaware. Delaware has about 1,450 bridges, 95% of which are under the supervision of DelDOT. About 30% of all Delaware bridges were built before 1950. And about 60% of the number are included in the National Bridge Inventory. Some bridges not under DelDOT supervision includes the 4 bridges on the Chesapeake and Delaware Canal, which are under the jurisdiction of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and the Delaware Memorial Bridge, which is under the bi-state Delaware River and Bay Authority. It has been noted that the tar and chip composition of secondary roads in Sussex County makes them more prone to deterioration than are the asphalt roadways in almost the rest of the state. Among these roads, Sussex County Road 236 is among the most problematic. Law and government. Delaware's fourth and current constitution, adopted in 1897, provides for executive, judicial and legislative branches. Legislative branch. The Delaware General Assembly meets in the Legislative Hall in Dover. The Delaware General Assembly consists of a House of Representatives with 41 members and a Senate with 21 members. It sits in Dover, the state capital. Representatives are elected to 2-year terms, while senators are elected to 4-year terms. The Senate confirms judicial and other nominees appointed by the governor. Delaware's U.S. Senators are Tom Carper, Democrat, and Chris Coons, Democrat. Delaware's single U.S. Representative is Lisa Blunt Rochester, Democrat. Delaware was the last U.S. state to use judicial corporal punishment, in 1952. Counties. Delaware is subdivided into 3 counties. From north to south they are New Castle, Kent and Sussex. This is the fewest among all states. Each county elects its own legislative body, known in New Castle and Sussex counties as county council, and in Kent County as levy court, which deal primarily in zoning and development issues. Most functions which are handled on a county-by-county basis in other states, such as court and law enforcement, have been centralized in Delaware, leading to a significant concentration of power in the Delaware state government. The counties were historically divided into hundreds, which were used as tax reporting and voting districts until the 1960s, but now serve no administrative role, their only current official legal use being in real estate title descriptions. Freedom of information. Each of the 50 states of the United States has passed some form of freedom of information legislation, which provides a mechanism for the general public to request information of the government. In 2011, Delaware passed legislation placing a 15-business-day time limit on addressing freedom of information requests, to either produce information or an explanation of why such information would take longer than this time to produce. Education. University of Delaware. Delaware was the origin of Belton v. Gebhardt, one of the 4 cases which were combined into Brown v. Board of Education, the Supreme Court of the United States decision that led to the end of officially segregated public schools. Significantly, Belton was the only case in which the state court found for the plaintiffs, thereby ruling that segregation is unconstitutional. All teachers in the state's public school districts are unionized. As of January 2012, none of the state's charter schools are members of a teachers' union. One of the state's teachers' unions is Delaware State Education Association, whose president as of January 2012 is Frederica Jenner. Colleges and universities. Delaware College of Art and Design, Delaware State University, Delaware Technical and Community College, Drexel University at Wilmington, Goldie Beacom College, University of Delaware, Wesley College, Widener University School of Law, Wilmington University. Tourism. Delaware is home to First State National Historical Park, a National Park Service unit that is composed of historic sites across the state including the Newcastle Courthouse, Green and Sheriff's House, Dover Green, Beaver Valley, Fort Christina, Old Swedes Church, John Dickinson Plantation, and the Rives Holt House. Delaware has several museums, wildlife refuges, parks, houses, lighthouses, and other historic places. Rehoboth Beach, together with the towns of Lewis, Dewey Beach, Bethany Beach, South Bethany, and Fenwick Island, comprise Delaware's beach resorts. Rehoboth Beach often bills itself as the nation's summer capital, because it is a frequent summer vacation destination for Washington, D.C. residents, as well as visitors from Maryland, Virginia, and in lesser numbers, Pennsylvania. Vacationers are drawn for many reasons, including the town's charm, artistic appeal, nightlife, and tax-free shopping. Delaware is home to several festivals, fairs, and events. Some of the more notable festivals are the Riverfest held in Seaford, the World Championship Punkin Chunkin formerly held at various locations throughout the state since 1986. The Rehoboth Beach Chocolate Festival, the Bethany Beach Jazz Funeral to mark the end of summer, the Apple Scrapple Festival held in Bridgeville, the Clifford Brown Jazz Festival in Wilmington, the Rehoboth Beach Jazz Festival, the Sea Witch Halloween Festival and Parade in Rehoboth Beach, the Rehoboth Beach Independent Film Festival, the Nanticoke Indian Powwow in Oak Orchard, Firefly Music Festival, and the Return Day Parade held after every election in Georgetown. Sports professional teams. Delaware Black Foxes. Rugby. USA Rugby League. Delaware Blue Coats. Basketball. NBA G League. Delaware Thunder. Hockey. Federal Prospects Hockey League. Diamond State Roller Girls Roller Derby. Women's Flat Track Derby Association. Wilmington Blue Rocks. Baseball Carolina League. As Delaware has no franchises in the major American professional sports leagues, many Delawareans follow either Philadelphia or Baltimore teams. In the WNBA, the Washington Mystics enjoy a major following due to the presence of Wilmington native and University of Delaware product Elena Del Dunn. The University of Delaware's football team has a large following throughout the state, with the Delaware State University and Wesley College teams also enjoying a smaller degree of support. Delaware is home to Dover International Speedway and Dover Downs. DIS, also known as the Monster Mile, hosts two NASCAR race weekends each year, one in the late spring and one in the late summer. Dover Downs is a popular harness racing facility. It is the only co-located horse and car racing facility in the nation, with the Dover Downs track inside the DIS track. Delaware has been home to professional wrestling outfit Combat Zone Wrestling. Zone Wrestling has been affiliated with the annual Tournament of Death and DCWA with its annual Super 8 tournament. Delaware Native Americans. Delaware is also the name of a Native American group, which was influential in the colonial period of the United States and is today headquartered in Cheswold, Kent County, Delaware. A band of the Nanticoke tribe of American Indians today resides in Sussex County and is headquartered in Millsboro, Sussex County, Delaware.